recording right here. So we're recording right now. So for what we're going to be covering tonight, it's March the 10th. This is week 7 for the CAD for construction class, Monroe Community College, spring semester 2021. Yes, we're doing that, and so we are recording it right now, and we are going to go ahead and talk about working tonight. And so starting tonight, we're going to be going and working on this. And so the wall section is what we're going to be working on, because as we talked about all through this semester, we've talked that we are actually building a set of construction documents, starting with a floor plan, and then we do a front elevation, and then we do a foundation plan, and then we're going to do a wall section. You know, so these are all elements that we draw to actually be part of a particular set of construction documents. And then you can actually make the building. And what I'm going to be showing you next week is a building that I actually made back in Michigan. I actually designed and built a house in Michigan when I was at the tender age of 32. I had a friend that was a builder, and he wanted to do a spec home, and we talked, and so I drew up some plans in AutoCAD. And you know, I was pretty wet behind the ears, but I was too stupid to know I couldn't do it, and I did it. So I went ahead and drew a whole set of construction plans and did this together. And what I'm showing you right now is essentially what I gave the city to build this thing. So what we're working on right now is actually enough to build a house in a lot of different precincts. It's enough, which might sound crazy to you, but it's actually the truth. And so I've done this before. I know what's required. I got this. They weren't even stamped. I just made them myself, and then they went ahead and took them, they accepted them, we built the house. That's how it was. So we'll start to show you that next week. And so that's actually the house we're going to draw, the house that I built in Michigan. So we're going to be working on that. Simple. It's not real difficult. And so so getting into that right now, as we're looking at all this right now, all of the sheets have a purpose. They all are describing a particular project. They're all describing a certain structure, a certain building, a certain house, or a certain commercial structure, whatever it might be. And so that's what all the sheets go towards. So now we're going to look at the wall section that is related to those others. And just to give a quick review, because just for the video here, for the sake of the video, I'm going to go over here, and this is your floor plan. You got your floor plan right there. So we have that, and the floor plan is the first thing that we have looked at. The next thing we have is the front elevation. This is what it looks like from the front. And then taking a look over here, this is actually what it looks like. This is the foundation plan, and this is how these all go together. And then the next thing we took a look at, or going to take a look at, is this right here, which is the wall section. So we talked about how those relate, and just to go back to here real quickly, we looked at the fact that anytime you see these kind of notations right here, they mean something. You got this section here, A, section here, A. So we're calling that double A. We're calling that section double A because it's actually cutting through the wall right here. And what would that look like? Now, by the way, I've taken some liberties with this, and so I've simplified some things, and I've kind of changed some things around a little bit just to give you experience with this set of plans. So if you see some things, you may say, hey, wait, this is bogus. It probably is. I did it, but I wanted you to learn some things. It's okay. Essentially, it's the same structure, but I'm just kind of show you guys how to do some things, how to shake that out. So anyway, that's how we go get started. So this is what we're going to draw. This is what you have. And so what you will do is you will download that particular drawing from the you'll download that drawing right there, and what you will do is once you have that, I should have it someplace. I think I do have it someplace. Let's see here. Should be. I'm not seeing it right now though. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab it again, and we'll just go ahead and make sure we have it. But before I do anything else, I'm going to download my template. We talked about templates. This is called the Wall Section Southfield template. I download that, and it goes ahead and it's downloading. So I've got that. So you always want to make sure you do that. The other thing we talked about is the actual description of the project, which is right here. And I went ahead and did this, and I did this, and we began to take a look at that, which is what we want to do. So I'm going to reduce that. We're going to drop this down. So this is what you're going to start with, and this is the wall section A. So what I usually like to tell my students to do is to start with this bottom section here. This is the footing. So you start with that, and then you move on from there. Now, a lot of this is not going to be that difficult, but we're just going to go ahead and jump in here. So let's go ahead and let's get started with that right there. So the very bottom, the footing is 1'8" by 8 inches, 1 foot 8 by 8 inches, and that's a rectangle. So if I go back to AutoCAD, if I want to start there, I would go over here to AutoCAD and I'd start a new drawing right here. And I'd start the drawing with the template. So what do? I go out to find the template. You could also double click on it. I can't do it that way because of the fact that where I'm situated right now is it doesn't let me, I got this right here. So wall section, okay, there's a question, a little chat here. So like the blue squiggles. Okay, very good. That's nice. Okay, that's good. You're going to get a chance to do those blue squiggles. All right, so you got this right here. So I just started this right now. And as we started this, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on this. So we're going to start, and you got the foundation wall is your layer. You got some other layers that are in here. You've got these different ones. And the blue squiggles are actually the insulation. That's, I think, the big selling point that is getting this, that I showed that on the internet. I think I'm the only one that's shown how to use that. But you guys are going to learn how to do this. That's actually what is called a line type. A line type. Now, what do we mean by a line type? Well, a line type is actually an appearance of a line. Okay, so you can actually have dashed lines, you can have continuous lines, you can have hidden lines, and this one's called batting. Okay, batting. Well, what's batting all about? Well, batting looks kind of like this right here. It shows you what that looks like. So that's what that's going to do. That gives you insulation. So that's actually a line type called batting, and you see it's on a layer called bat. Anyone who's done insulation, when you are taking insulation, the big pink rolls of insulation, they are called bats, okay? Rolls or bats, and that's what actually goes into the cavities. Okay, that's typically how that works. So that's what we got right there. So I'm going to start right here with my footing, and I'm going to go ahead. I said it was 1 foot 8. I'm going to make that my current layer, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to close out of that. Get rid of the auto hide. Close there. And I said it was. I'm going to make a rectangle here. So I make a rectangle. And go ahead and tell it here. You know, that's going to be 1 foot 8 by 8. So 1 foot 8, comma 8. Boom, there it is. So that's a start. Now that I've got that right there, one of the things that I put on my sheet that I showed you guys a minute ago was over here, is right here. I then have these, well, what does he mean by this information here? Well, I got this right here, which is AR concrete, angle of 0, scale of 0.7. Well, concrete, that would be concrete right there. So AR conc, angle 0, scale 0.7. So I'm going to go ahead and see how that works. So we talked about this before. That is what we would actually call hatching. And so this is hatching right here. I'm going to go ahead and use this hatching layer. So use the hatching layer, and the hatch command is right here. Looks like this. Looks like a little rectangle or square filled with a pattern. So we click on that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change it right here to AR conc. Let me go ahead and change this. So I'm going to change this down here by scrolling down. And I can go ahead and see all my different layers. And this one is called AR conc. Where is that? There it is, AR conc. Okay, now the other things I needed was the AR conc, the angle is 0. So I'm good to go there, angle is 0. And then the actual scale is 0.7. So scales need 0.7, so 0.7, hit my enter key, boom. And now it asks me now to pick a point. I can pick a point right here, so I can pick a point right inside here, and I click there, boom. There you have it. So there you've got your first little bit there. Now, to make sure this is how it's supposed to be, we go to the dimensions layer, and we'll go ahead and put the dimensions on there, which is what we would want to do. Now, one thing about putting your dimensions in, I think I mentioned this before, if you hit the enter key at your first prompt, you can then just go ahead and click on a line rather than pick 2 points. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to hit my enter key, and I can go ahead and click on this rather than pick 2 lines. So if it's just a straight line like that, you can do that. So now what I want to do is put those on the correct layer, which I thought I had changed, but I guess I didn't. And I want to put on the dimensions layer. Looks like that. So far, we're off to a good start. We're off to a rollicking start. So now that we've done that, we've seen that we've got this, and so we got that, got a good foundation there. So that looks good. So what do we have next? Well, next thing I want to point out here is you see how thick that line is? Well, how come mine's not like that? Well, the reason why is there's a tool here. You can actually turn this on and off. This is your line weight. And you can go in here and change your line weight settings to be thicker or thinner to actually display or not to display. And then you can actually have those show up or not show up. And it looks like for whatever reason that's not showing up right there. So let's see here. So that is footing. And so footing's there. And let me take a quick look here and see if I have anything with that. So footing here, I must not have footing. Looks like I don't have a thickness associated with it. Okay. That's okay. You don't necessarily need to have it. But one thing that is not a bad thing to do is you could actually go here and you could actually change this. So instead of being the line weight is default, I can go ahead and change this to like just be anything that would show up, like 0.25. And now, so I just changed that. So now the only one that has a thickness is the footing. So watch what happens when I do that. When you do that, and then I go ahead and turn this on and off. Come on, you're supposed to show a little more of that. Okay, so the line weights are not showing for some reason. I'm not going to worry about that. It's a minor point. We're going to keep on moving. Okay, so over here, you've got this, and looks like when I drew these, I may have deliberately made them thicker just for illustration purposes. But the yeah, I definitely gave them a thickness. Okay, so I guess that's one thing I did not do in this particular one. So let me take a look real quickly what I did here. Right. Oh, I guess I overrode them. I guess I overrode them is what I did. Yeah, so I overrode those thicknesses. So I went here. Yep, I changed to 0.50 just so you guys could see it. That's why I did that. I did that for printing purposes. Don't worry about that for what you guys are doing. I'm not going to worry about that. So don't worry about if your walls all are thinner. Don't worry about that. I just did that for printing so it looked better. Okay, now that we have this, the next thing I have to do is I have to begin to orient this wall line right here. So that wall line comes out here. So the wall is 8 inches thick and it comes off the front. The back end of it is 1'2". So it comes 1'2" off of here, and then it's going to go up a distance right here. Now I don't have this distance right here. So that one, I'm just going to go ahead and start it. This one over here, this one I know this goes from 1'6" up to this right here. And then the bottom here is 6. So the total distance of here is 1'6" plus 6, which is 2 feet. So it goes up 2 feet. So it goes over here. Try to make this clear. But you got 1 foot 2 inches. That's actually 14 inches minus 6. So it comes off here 6 inches, then goes up. So anyway, I'm going to go over 6 inches. Then I'm going to go up. And that distance is going to be to get 2 feet, 8 inches, to get to 24, go up 16 inches. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go up 16 inches coming off 6. So change my foundation wall, start my line command, touch it here, and I'm going to go over 6. So I type in 6. So I went that far. Then I'm going to go up 16. Okay, and then at that point, then I would go over this direction. What would that be? Let's see here. That would go over 5 inches. Yep. Yeah, 5. 5. Yep, and then I would go down, and then the distance here, that's 4 inches. So about 4. Then I go out to here. It's now 3. Then go down. Right. Okay, and that should be right. Let me put some dimensions on it, make sure that's right. So that should be 8 inches across. Let's verify that it is. So I'll go from here to here, make sure that's 8. And it is, that's good. I'm going to take that and put it on the dimensions there because I want to keep that. And then I'll continue to draw here. So always check your dimensions as you're going along just to make sure that you are where you want, where you're supposed to be. Now, one thing you're going to notice is over here, oh, by the way, if your dimensions are looking like that, you can always send it to the back. You see how the red is on top of the green? A lot of people, they get really frustrated by that. So if I click on this right here, I can right click, and there's a thing in AutoCAD that is also in Photoshop, which is draw order, and I can say send to back. So I can grab that dimension and say send it to the back. So I click on that, and boom, that's now back there. Kind of cool. So that's how you can control it. That's something that, you know, you got
complete. Driving me nuts this whole time, and I've been like manually shrinking the bars so that they wouldn't show up.
Well, hey, well now you know the secret. All right. So that's all you got to do. So and we're glad that answered the question for you. So we're going to continue on to here. Yeah, but draw order. By the way, that is in a lot of applications. You also have it in like Microsoft documents, such as in Word and also in Excel. It's in there too. And then I got 1 foot 2 inches. So we're good to go. We got a good start. We're looking good. So now the next thing I want to do is, now that I've got that, I would then want to continue on through here. I've got a good foundation.
Someone's got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, could you show us how to make a line? Like if you made a box out of 4 different lines, I can't figure out how to make that into a polyline.
A wonderful question. All right, and this is actually, that's a great question. Now watch this. So I got, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Line, I'm gonna go over 6, and then I'm gonna go up 6 again. Now these are all lines, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna make a square here, just that you're clear about this. And then 6, and then down. Okay, so go ahead and do that. All right, now that we have that, now watch this. Now they're all separate. See that? All separate. All right, just so you guys are clear about this. So it's not connected. It's 4 lines. If I hover my cursor over it, it tells me that it is a. If I hover my cursor over it, come on, you tell me what you are. Tells me it's a line. Okay, now to join them together, easiest way is to use the join command. Now let me show you something here. You type in the letter J, and join comes right up. Join. The easiest way to do it starts join. So join similar object to form a single unbroken object. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. So click on join, and then it says select the source object or multiple objects to join at once. Well, I just usually do this, grab everything like that. Once you grab them all, you hit your enter key, and boom, that's a polyline.
Okay, that's a lot easier than I was making it.
Yeah, there's other ways to do it too, but it used to be much harder than that. But that's a new thing they've got in AutoCAD. So yeah, that's a fast way to make that happen. Okay. Okay, good question. Very good question. Okay, so now that we got that, we got a basic foundation. Now let me point out a couple things you got going on here. You've got some minutia happening here, and some of this we don't have to worry about. Some of it we will. But over here, what we're going to look at is right here. I've got this, for instance, right here. I've got this hatching right here, and it starts at 1'6" from the bottom here, 1'6", and this is actually my my hatching right there. 1'6", it's the gravel base right there. So I want to go ahead and start at 1'6" and draw it over and give myself this kind of a line here. Well, the way I would do this, I'll show you a couple ways to do it by using exactly what you just asked about. And we're going to join these together. So I'm glad you asked that. I'm going to save my drawing right here before I get too much further. Save it as wall, all capitals. Okay, wall, sect. Okay. Go to my desktop. Okay, go here. Okay, right to here. Okay, right to there. Okay, wall section A. Running like that. Save it. Okay, so I've got that. And so now that we've got this in place, we're good to go. We can kind of continue on and move through here. It's kind of funny. It's actually warm right now. It's crazy. I haven't had to face that in a few months, so it's actually pretty warm right here. Excuse me. Just gonna just drop this off real quickly here, and we'll keep moving. And so now that we got that going, we're going to continue on. And what we're going to do next is, now that we have that happening, next thing is we want to put in the gravel base. We're going to go here. So to do this, the way I do this, there's a few ways to do this, but I'm going to start it with a polyline. I'm going to make a line afterwards. So I'm going to go right up here. I'm going to go up how far? 1'6". 1'6". That's what I said I wanted to do, which is right there. I'm going to go ahead and start it here. So I'm going to start to there. And at that point, that's where I want to start from. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. So it's kind of like this. And just going to bring it out around to this far right there. I'm going to do that right there, like that. Okay, so I've got that. Now this part of the line I don't really need anymore. So I'm going to just explode this real quickly because I don't need that. We'll do this, get rid of that. Okay, now to get this other part in there, the way you would do it is you'd use a polyline. I'll show you how we do this. So I'll use a polyline for the bottom part. I'm just going to make kind of a jaggedy line right here. Highly technical word, I know. But I can make an arc right here. I can go ahead and make a little arc like there. See that? See that how it's making an arc? You can make an arc. I just right-clicked and did that. So you can do that, and I can go ahead and make kind of a, not a terribly thick arc, and then I can go ahead and make it a little bit thinner or whatever I might want to do. Then I go back to the line option. So go back to the line, and then from there, what I would do is I'd go ahead and go like, I'd go ahead and maybe go like this kind of a thing. I'm just going to kind of go jaggedy. Again, highly technical term, but you get the idea. And so what I'm doing right there is just kind of giving myself like kind of a broken earth type pattern. So now I double click on this, and I'm going to use a spline on it. Watch this. This is where this gets good. I hit spline, boom, it does that. Looks kind of nice, okay? And then at that point, I've got this, and then, you know, you might want to kind of put these together here so they work a little bit better, or you could just join them. So I'm going to grab these two together. I'm going to type in I'm going to use join and grab these and join them together. Hit my enter key, and then I'm going to go ahead and spline it one more time, and that should take out that kind of polyline, edit polyline, which is right there, and I'm going to go to spline it. There it is. So it looks like that. Okay, that's how we go ahead and do that. Kind of cool, huh? Now, one thing that I also have here is this line kind of goes over a little bit too far. So I can just take it and I can pull it over to this side like this. And then the last thing you'd want to do is just so it's joined together so you have a nice foundation. It's good practice to typically connect these. Okay, so I'd go to line again. I go ahead and click it here and click to here. And when I have that, I'd want to add that as part of the polyline. So I'll go to join again. I'm going to grab these elements right here, only these, and in my polyline. And then when I hit my return, when I do that, boom, I've got that together. Now at that point, I could then go ahead and I could hatch that. So going back to my other plan, it tells me over here what this is. If I go back over to here, what I've got right here is not there, over here, right here. For this one, my earth is actually angle 0. The scale is 2.4. Angle is 0, and the scale is 2.4. So back to here. Okay, so I go back to my hatch. And this one is called Earth. All right, so you scroll down until you find Earth. Looks like this, looks like a parquet pattern. And then the angle for this one is 2.4, like that. Go ahead and pick right inside there. Whoop, and it didn't like that. Okay, so it didn't find a good location. Let's try that again. Okay, like that better. Sometimes it does that, but that's actually what it should look like. So that's how you'd hatch it. So you got that going on right there. Okay, so then when I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and put more dimensions on here to make sure we are looking good. So I'm going to start there and go from here. Let's see here, going from here up to there, and I go ahead and pull that over like something like that. Okay, and then the next one should be, this should be 6 inches if I got this correct, and I think I do. Let's find out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we are looking great. So that is what we have built so far. So that's what you go ahead and do. Now, the other information on this other side, we'd go ahead and continue on that. But one thing I'm going to do as I move through here, I've got a couple things I've got to put in here. And that is, I've got this rigid foam insulation over to the right. So I've got this right here, this rigid foam insulation right over here. That's 1 inch. That's pretty easy. So I'll draw to 1 inch, and then I'll go ahead and make that work right there. So over here, I'd go ahead and change my layer to insulation, and I'll go ahead and put that. I'll just go ahead and make this a polyline. What the heck? So over here, I'll go over 1 inch. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to touch it right here, and there, and then close it. And once I've got that, I want to put in my hatching that we talked about before, which is again going over to here. And this one right here, this is the ANSI 31. This is the ANSI 31. The angle is 0. The scale is 3.4, which is what I want to do there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right in there. So that's the ANSI 31. So I go ahead to hatch, and ANSI 31 stands for the American National Standards Institute. That's what that is. And there's actually people who sit around and make patterns and standardize them and give them names like ANSI 31, like this one here. So you got that. And then the scale for this one is what, 3.4, I think we said. And yep. Then I go ahead and put this right in here, and that should look about right. There we go. So it's looking good. So we're looking good. And then I go ahead and continue to save it as I go along here. And then we're making good progress. Now this other stuff over to the side, same kind of a thing we had before. I can then put in some more information here, which I will do. So I'll go ahead and do this. First thing, I've got a little bituminous joint here, which is, you know, little, I didn't really even give it a thickness. So we're just going to go ahead, I'm just going to go ahead and measure for you guys so you guys can see it. Over here on this side right here, I've got a couple things right here. So you see that I've got this right here. I've got a couple different things right there. That is my actual, that's my actual wall line right there. And that is actually an error. This one should actually come back. So I realize on the plan, that's actually, this should actually be pulled right up to here, okay, like that. That's what that should look like, okay? So just that was an error. This bituminous joint right here, I'm just going to show you the size so that you're clear about it. Right here, I'm going to go ahead and hold this cursor. That is a 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch bituminous joint. And a bituminous joint, if you guys have ever heard of it, that's like essentially when you would look at, like, let's say two pieces of concrete, they has like a little bit of bitumen in there, and it's like kind of like a tarry felt substance that actually goes in between those. And so that is what we'll go ahead and put in there, and that's going to be a 1/4 inch. So I think I have a layer called, do I have a layer called bituminous joint? I guess I don't. So I will put this actually on the, okay, I'm going to go ahead for that one. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the, I don't have a layer for that. So
Is
I'm
that
going to
the slab one?
What's that?
Is that the slab layer?
Yeah, it could go on the slab layer. You're actually right, except it's not the right color. I think that's the thing. I think I changed the color of that so it would be darker is what I did. It would actually be on the slab layer. We'll just go ahead and put it on the slab layer. What the heck? And we'll go ahead and it'll look good on the black background. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we're going to do this and make it 1/4 inch. Okay, so we'll start here and I'm going to go over 0.25, 0.25 over, boom, and then we'll go down like that, and then over like this, and then we'll close it. Okay, that's my bituminous joint, and that also has the same kind of a hatch pattern. So I'm going to use my same hatch pattern I had, and this one's still going to be remembering my last one, and it's the same one as we have right there. So we got that. So that's my bituminous joint. So we're good to go there. And then we've got my 4-inch concrete slab, and then you'll notice that it just goes over a certain distance, but I don't say how far. That is intentional. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take it here. I'm going to run it over this far. I'll just go ahead and run over it. What I'll say 1'6", 1'6", boom. And then I'm going to do it, do the line down here as well. And I'll go ahead and do this. And we'll just go ahead and say 1'6", like that. Whoop. And because I wasn't even, it didn't come out right. So 1'6", boom. There we go. Okay, so you got that right there. We'll save it. So this is how we go ahead and build this. So now once I built that, I would want to hatch it. Okay, whoops. Okay, yes, we do want to do that. Yeah, I guess hang on, we cancel out of there. I think it didn't, we'll go cancel out of there. All right, we'll just go ahead and save it real quickly. Boom. All right. All right, and so I'm going to hatch that. Now, one thing I want to show you is, you guys probably know, I already showed you this before, but one thing that I want to put in here on the symbols layer is the break line. And I think I've got the break line in here. I'll go to insert. I think I've got an insert file. Yeah, break line's right there. And we talked about break lines before, but a break line allows you to do just that. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. And once I've got that, I need to kind of like edit it so it does what I want it to do here. So I've got it there. And this one, I'll just go and rotate it. So like this. And this one's a little tough to work with because I think I just saved the, or whoever did this. Yeah, it needs to, yeah, that's correct. I can go that way. And then I could just go ahead and scale it. Couldn't I? Yeah, scale it. All right, let's see. I'm going to scale it factor 4. Okay, so I'm going to do this and move it over here. Move it. Yeah, that's too big. Scale it maybe 2. Okay, that's good. I'm going to move it right up here. I'll just do it this way. All right, go ahead and do this. I'm going to move it somewhere like this. And something like that right there. Okay. And then as far as that goes, that's not a very good break symbol, though, is it? I don't know like that. Let me try this one. There's another tool out here. Let me try a different break symbol. That one is not what I'm after. Let me give you this one. I'm going to show you guys something kind of cool here. This is an added bonus, okay? This is one we should have here. Let's see here on the Home tab. Oh, don't tell me it doesn't have it. Oh, come on. Really? It doesn't have it? You got to be kidding me. Let me go to my tabs. 3D tools. Oh, come on. Really? It doesn't have Express tools? Well, that's no good. All right. Yeah, I've got some Express tools that are really kind of nice here, but they're not located. Well, that's no good. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. I'll just go ahead and do old school. All right. When you're doing this, typically the symbol that you would use, you would just go like this. You go ahead and pull up and down. You go ahead over a certain distance. And you could go ahead and use the one I gave you, but you could also do it like this. you know, and they're just going to kind of like do it like, just kind of like try to copy what's here. Like that. You can do it like that too. All right. Nothing too terribly difficult, but that's a break line. And once you got a break line in there, I'm not going to grade you down for it not being perfect, but that's your break line. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to do is I want to use the same hatch pattern that I have down here. This is the hatch pattern I have here. So what I want to do is I want to use that. And I want to put it up in there. So to do that, let's see here. Can I do this? Can I pick? So when I click on that, I think I can maybe pick a point right in there. All right. All right, gonna let me do that? No, it's not. Okay, so AR conch, I'll just go back to here. Okay, that one's still good. So I'll go back to my hatch pattern and I'll use my AR conch and pick inside there. And that's on the wrong layer, so I gotta change it to gravel base right up here. And we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so we got that. So now we're looking pretty good. And then there's supposed to be a line through there. And then there's a notation on there. So we can get to that too. So this last little thing here is I'd go ahead and go to the slab layer. Then I just draw a line straight to the middle of it, which would be the midpoint, which would be somewhere right around there. Go there and then go across, and there we have it, right across like that. Okay, so there we have it. And then that one actually should be a dash line type, actually right there. Now, as far as that goes, I think I dashed this one over here. Maybe I didn't. Looks like I didn't do it. Okay, but it's done that way. It's supposed to be a hidden line right here. So I didn't override right there, made it a hidden line type. So we'll go ahead and do that just to make it look better. So go ahead and go here. I'm going to change this particular line type to being hidden, which is right here. So change that to hidden. Now look, that's a little bit small, that line type. So if the line type's a little too small, there's actually a couple things you can do to fix it. I can click on it, and then I can right click and go to my properties, and I can make the line type for that particular item larger or smaller. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I want that to be larger. So my line type is right now, don't want to do that. I'll say line type scale for that one. Let's go ahead and say 4. All right, that looks better. And so that looks better. So that's all you got to do. So with these things, I just did a little override on that particular one and we fixed it. So we got that. Okay, so now we've got the bulk of the stuff in here. Now we got a few things. Now we're going to build this section up here. So building this section up here, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. And you guys are holding up really well. I appreciate that. But this right here, this is your
You're missing some hatching.
I'm sorry, what?
I think you're missing some hatching in the middle part.
Over, yep, right here. You're right. You're right. And so I'll go ahead and put that in too. And so we could go ahead and do that as well. And so I would do that, and I'd go inside here, and I'm on the wrong layer. So I get on the right layer, which is gravel base. Gravel base. Okay. I go to hatching, and I should still be good. So I pick inside there, and boom, we're good to go. And that's how we have it. Very good. Now, the next thing we have going on here is going up the wall. Now, the wall right here, I'm going to use walls. And I'm going to go ahead and start here. And this is this first wall right here. I'm just going to go right up, starting from this location here, not including the bituminous joint. I'm going to go up like this, and I'm going to straight up. And I'm going to go up. I don't really have a distance, so I'm just going to go up just kind of like that, just like that. I'm going to offset it. The thickness of the wall is 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and offset that 1/2 inch, just so that we're clear on it, here to here. So that's a 1/2 inch right there. Now that I've done that, the next thing I want to do is I've got an exterior wall, which is also 1/2 inch sheathing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that to the other side. I can copy it, or I can just go ahead and put it, from one side to the other. But you guys get the point. So go over here and drop it there. So that's what I've got.
I have a question really quick.
What's that?
How did you make the spacing larger on the hidden line?
Oh, okay. To do that, I'll show you that again. What you would do, this is something that is known as using the properties, adjusting the properties. So I went here and I changed that. And you notice that I went up here and I changed this to being hidden, first of all. That's the line type. So to do this, you can do it up here. You can also do it by right-clicking and choosing properties, which is right down here. So once you got that, I've got this right here, and you see I was able to override this to line type. And if I change the line type scale here, this is what makes it larger or smaller. I'm going to make it 8, and watch what happens. I type in 8 and hit enter, and see how the spacing got larger.
Yeah.
And so if I go ahead and make it 20, it gets even larger. And if I make it 1, watch what happens. It gets really tiny.
Okay, mine was at 1.
Yeah, your line type scale will impact how large that appears, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Good question. And then I want to make sure that I've got my linear distance, make sure I've got this right. I think it should be 5 from here to here. It should be, and it is. Okay, good. So I got all these. It's looking good. And I'm just going to complete this because we're almost done. And this is the only one we have for this week. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this one. So I've got that in place right there. So that's 5 inches right there. Okay, now here's the question y'all want to know. How do I get that squiggly line in there? That's actually known as bat. Now, here's what's really cool about this. To do this, first of all, let me put my stud in place. Okay, I've got a stud down here, and the stud is on the bottom here. The stud would actually be also on your wall layer. And I think I drew that actually as a straight up 2x4, which is not accurate. Unless, like my son right now, he just bought a house in Rochester in the North Vinton neighborhood. You guys, anyone know the North Winton neighborhood?
No.
You've seen the flags? Okay. You know the East Avenue Wegmans?
Yeah.
Okay. So
like the one near Trader Joe's?
the one, well, the East Avenue one, well, there's actually an Aldi's right next to it, right in Rochester.
Oh, like the one in the city?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's right close to there. So they're actually moving from Kansas City. They wanted a bit more of a city type thing. So they're actually moving right into Rochester. So it's kind of cool. So the house was actually built in 1919. That's 101 years old. So when you go in there and you basically start to, and they're doing some demo work right now. So when you measure the studs in there, they're not 1.5 by 3.5 like we have now. They're actually 2 by 4. They're actually really 2 inches by 4 inches. Have you guys ever seen studs in old houses like that?
Yeah, I think mine had some like that.
Yeah.
That are like the old pine wood type stuff.
Yeah. The older they are, the more the larger they are. Because what happened is as times got better and manufacturing became what it was, a 2 by 4 is actually no longer a 2 by 4. Now it's 1.5 by 3.5. Well, back, then, and it was 1 3/4 by 3 3/4 for a while, but before that it was actually 2 by 4. And so anyway, that's actually how they used to work. Well, I'm just gonna put this like it's a real 2 by 4. What the heck? So I do this just so that I can go ahead and just kind of show this works. So I'm gonna go ahead and click here, and my 2 by 4. I'm gonna go ahead and make it exactly 2 by 4. So 4, 2, boom, there it is. So there's my 2 by 4, and to indicate that it is a 2 by 4, and I'm looking at it in section, I go ahead and give it a couple lines right here. That's how you go ahead and mark that. So I actually did make it 2 by 4. Okay, just went ahead and did that. Now, the other thing that you have right here is a bolt. Now the bolt right here, I didn't give you dimensions on it, so you guys can kind of freestyle on this. It should basically look something like mine does. I'll just give you the dimensions real quickly, what I did. So for this one, the actual size of it, right here, if I go ahead and grab it, it's probably, I'm going to guess from here to here, that's about 1 inch. That's 1 inch. And then it's probably 1/2 inch tall. Probably 1/2 inch by 1 inch. Yeah, 1/2 inch by 1 inch. And then I actually go down, this one actually goes down to this point right here, and that goes down about 8 inches, and then it goes over like 2 7/8. So essentially you're going to kind of freestyle that, but the head of it is going to be 1/2 inch by 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. So to do that, I'm going to make a polyline. I'm going to start from the center, all right, just because that's easy to do. And to go ahead and do that, I'm going to go over 0.5 because that's half of it. Then up 0.5. Come on, you. Yeah, my machine's acting up. Doesn't like all this graphics going over the internets. So over here, 1, and then down here. I'll close it like that. Okay, so that's your bolt right there. I'm just go ahead and draw a line from here to here. So that's my bolt right there. And then what you do is you go ahead and you draw this. And it's probably going to be what? That's going to be probably 0.25, probably. Something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and go down with this. And then we're down 8 inches. 8. Like that. All right, and then we're going to go over at an angle, around, right around like that. And then we're going to offset it. I'm going to offset that. What the heck? 0.25. That's not enough, is it? Offset 0.5. All right, that gets up over time. So I'm just offsetting that 0.5. And we'll go here, and we'll do that. So you got that. Now, one other thing I would do is just use my line command to go ahead and just kind of like draw an end to end here, like that. And then at that point, you'll notice that this right here is not, these bolt lines right here, they need to be dashed and they're not. So what do I need to do there? What I need to do is find out what they are. And they're going to be hidden lines. I'll guarantee you that. So go to here, and here. Grab those 3 items right there, just those. And in my properties right here, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, change my line type scale. First of all, change the line type to hidden. I'm going to make it hidden like this. And when I make it hidden, look at that. Looks just about right. So we're good to go there. So that's how we go ahead and put the bolt in. Okay, so now we're making it. So now here we go. We're going to put in the bat. So to put the bat in here, I'd go here. Now that's just a line. Okay, watch this. I just use a standard line. And watch what happens here. I'm going to start it right from here. I'm going to start it right from this location here. I'm going to go straight up. Now look at that. See that? That's what the line type looks like. Kind of cool. And now, again, it's not the right size, so I click on it. And what I do over here is I'll try a line type scale. Well, let's try 12. Too big. Let's try 6. Not quite right. Let's try 4. Fits in perfectly with 4. You might say 4.5, but 4 works out pretty good. Let's try 4.5. What the heck? 4.5, boom. Yeah, 4.5 works out real well. So that fills that space right here. That's how you do insulation. Pretty cool stuff. So that's how you go ahead and put that in place right there. So that's your insulation. And so a lot of the work is done for you. The last thing is in some ways the worst, which is, and I'm not doing everything here. There's actually a couple things I'm leaving out purposely. I'm going to leave a lot of the notation off. But the last thing, I had this 1x8 cedar shake siding. Cedar shakes, for those of you that are unfamiliar, is if you've ever seen pictures like old, Boston type, lobster houses, they'll have cedar shakes on them. Cedar shakes are essentially shingles that are actually hammered in, and they're actually little wood shakes or little wood shingles is what they are, and they're actually hammered into place. Well, that's what this particular house is using. And they're angled. Okay, so that's basically going to be. I've got to put some sheathing on there first of all. So that's no, I've got the sheathing on, so that's good. So then what I want right now is the to do these cedar shakes. So the cedar shakes look like this. I'm going to go on to this, which is my siding layer, and the siding layer. And these right here, I'm not going to be too terribly worried about this. But, I just want to show you how to make this happen. This is like, I kind of do this just to see how creative you guys can be. But I'm going to make them 1 inch tall, like that, 1 inch tall. And then once I've got that, I want to go up a certain distance. Well, the distance I want to go up in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it from this side. So go over here, and the distance for here, it's shown to me is supposed to be 8 inches. So they're 8 inches tall, okay? The actual siding is 1x8, so that's 8 inches, and then it goes over. Now, how far over does it go? Well, I didn't really give you a dimension right there because it's supposed to be actually taper as it goes up. So I'm going to go over 0.5 like that, then I go down and connect that. Okay, so I got those together, and that's what I'm looking for right there. And then when I have all those, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that and on this one right here. And when I click on those, I'm going to type the letter J to join them. Okay, and if that worked correctly, that should all be joined together. And it is, so I got that right there. Now, once you've got that in place, the next thing you would do is, these are actually kind of angled on each other. You can see in the drawing right here, you see that what you've got, they're kind of angled. Okay, it looks like I might have tapered them a little more. I guess I could fix that. But that is how we actually have that right there. So I've got the same kind of a taper right there. So I can copy that. And when you copy this, you got to kind of like take it and you got to rotate it. And I know this is a little bit messy, but don't worry about it. I'm going to go up 6.5 inches. That's what you got to go. Okay, that's where that's supposed to be. Okay. Then I can go up another distance. That's going to be 13. So I've got that. So I've got those in place. Okay. Now, once I put those in place, then I would need to rotate these so that they actually are aligned with each other. So I'd go ahead and I would go ahead and do a rotate. I'll say, okay, rotate this, right, like this. Here's my base point right here. And then I'm going to give what I call a reference. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give it a reference. And what I'm going to say is like, okay, from here to here, I want you to go out to there. And that's how you go ahead and do that. Now, once you do that, you're going to get, oh, it didn't quite make it, did it? Okay, so let me try that one more time. I'm just going to rotate that one more time. Okay, so we're going to rotate that. And I could also get the angle. There's a few different ways to do this. But I'm just going to go ahead and try that again. Rotate this. Okay, and I'm going to right click, use reference. Okay, so from here to here. I want to rotate out to here. That's better. That looks good. Okay, so once I've got that, that actually looks really good. So then I'd copy this one to be pretty much exactly the same thing. So I'd go ahead and copy this one. And if I did this correctly, that should go up 13. Actually, no, 6.5. 6.5, don't need to double yet. 6.5. And there we have that. And then I just have to do the same thing as the angle will change slightly as you go up. So I go ahead and do the same rotation as before. Rotate this.
That looks a little messed up down at the bottom. It's kind of overlapping.
Yeah, I'm fixing it right now. So to do that, I'm going to use my reference. And to do this, I'd go over here to here. Thank you for the attention. Now I go to here, and then I go ahead and pull it out to here like that. And that's how you go ahead and do that. And again, it's not perfect, not meant to be. I'm just trying to give you guys some experience with how these things kind of work together right here. And that's how you go ahead and put shakes, and shakes would actually work that way. Your first one might not be quite the same way, but that's how you go ahead and make them. And each one sheds water as it goes along, as you go along with that right there. Okay, and that is how you put those in. And then the dimension here should be 6.5 as I measure this. Should be. Let's check it and verify that it is. Should be. Let's see here, 6 here. Let's go here. Yep, there it is, 6.5. So that's what you got right there. And that's what it should look like. Okay, now the last few things here, I've actually got some, I've got a few notations here. And I got one more hatch thing. I'll let you guys figure out the hatch thing. And then over here, I've also got this, I've got another brake line. I just kind of wish that brake line worked better. Let's see here. Just not there, is it? Okay. So the brake line, go ahead and take this. Yeah, I don't know why this one is what it is, but it's just not really great. So I'm just going to draw it. I don't really like that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a brake line right here using my Polyline. I'll go ahead and pick a point right around here and do pretty much just on the book right here. So click here, I'm going to right over here, and I'm going to just kind of like freestyle. Go here, and then down, and then up. Right around like this. Can we get away from there? Don't want that. And then down. And then over like that. And then what I would use is my trim command to clear that off right there, because I don't need the rest of that. So I'll trim it. Start my trim command, and boom. Don't need that. And that's what we have right there. And then this would move down. So that's what you do. And those are the basics right there. The other things are just simply going to be leaders, which are notes with an arrow on them. And then at that point, you'd want to save it and put in the different kinds of notations to see. So I'll show you how to do these real quick. I think this is all set up to work. So I'll go here, and I'll go to text, and I'll put one of these in. I'll say stud 16 inches on center. So I'll go ahead and do this one. So my leaders are right here. So I'm going to go here. Let's see how this works. Pick a point right around. Now you see it's trying to find a point right here, so I don't want it to do that. So if I do this, it's going to find that, which I don't want it to do. So you could also do this. And if it's doing that right there, you can go to OSNAP overrides and choose nearest. And then you just pick a point anywhere along here that you might want to. So it's not exactly something like that. So I could do that, or I could just like say, I don't even want an object snap right now. I just want to pick somewhere in here like that, which is what you want to have here. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to click there. I'm going to pull it over. And then I'm going to type in my notation, which is going to say stud 16-inch on center. And stud 16 inches OC. Like that. Okay, so that looks like that. Now that text looks a little bit large. So let me see if what I've got over here. Let's see what my size my text is there. Text over here looks like it's height's 3/4 of an inch. So I'll go back to here. Let me fix that. So height. Yeah, okay. Point. All right, that's what you want it to be. And then what you can do is just simply copy this so that you use the same parameters again and again. So I just use my copy command, and that's okay, copy this. Okay, and go here, and then go ahead and do this and put these others in here. Now, one thing about this one though is there's a little dot on the end. So I'm just going to show you one quick thing to override this if you ever wanted to do this. I'm not too terribly worried about it, but I'm going to change this arrowhead from closed filled right here to be a dot, just to kind of show how that works. And since that's too large of a dot, there's actually a dot small here, which is actually what you want. Dot small right there. Okay, and that's how we go ahead and do that. So then you have that, that's how you put that together. And then I go ahead and put these other notes in here. R11 fiberglass insulation, I'd go ahead and change this to say that. So double click here. And yeah, there you go. That's R11 fiberglass. By the way, fiberglass only has one S. I don't know if you knew that. It's actually true. One of my customers when I was back in Detroit was the Owens Corning World Headquarters. And I learned that. So yeah, it's actually fiberglass. Look it up. And if you don't know,
like a brand or something.
Yeah, it is. It's a brand. Fiberglass was made by Owens Corning. They're located, their headquarters is in Toledo, Ohio. And the reason they actually make it there is because they have great sand there, which makes great glass. Corning used to actually be a glass company. There's actually a Corning Glass Works. You guys probably heard of it. So it's all connected. So Owens Corning was fiberglass, which is actually kind of a crazy thing. So fiberglass was pretty much popularized by Owens Corning, who are headquartered in Toledo because of the superior salt that they, superior sand that they have. It's actually true. Yep. And so, yeah, so fiberglass. Now you guys are probably all Googling, is it really 1S? If you find out something else, let me know. All right, other than that, I've got a couple other things that use dots instead of the others, but that should do it. And then at the very bottom, just put in your notation, your big text that says wall section AA, and that's it. And that's all I got for you guys. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna put this last one in, and just to make sure you guys are all clear on this. Now this one, the size of this, I'm gonna go ahead and change this. I'm going to go ahead and repeat my M text. Going to pick a point here, and then I'm going to right click and go to height, because I think the height for this one's going to have to be probably right around, I'm going to guess 6 inches. All right, yeah, something like that. So go ahead and go like that. And I'm going to go ahead and type in wall section AA. Okay, that's too big. Yeah, it's too big. So that's too large. So what I do is go in here and say, okay, what would that be? Okay. It's not 6 inches. Let's try 2. That's better. 2 inches works for that particular style. Okay, so you got that. And then the font's a little bit off, but don't worry about it. And then you could just use your arrow keys. And it should look right around like that. Now it's all done, you go ahead and save it, and that is it. So that is all I have for you guys for this week. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm just going to stop that right there.